I was admiring a dance video from my cute boyfriend Tyler, when suddenly floating comments appeared before my eyes. She doesn't actually think that sweet boy loves her, right? He calls her old woman behind her back. Just wait. After work, she'll discover some fascinating content on her boyfriend's phone. That underclassman isn't seducing men at all. She's clearly after her. Soon she'll learn just how irresistible the underclassman is. Before I could react, my phone vibrated. Lily sent me a picture. One glance and my face flushed red. Pulse skyrocketing. Her game was way too wild. Big sister, are my legs pretty? The image was a photograph. Lighting was dim but clear enough to see two slender, fair legs positioned together. A microphone placed on the thighs, with the flashy colored lights of a karaoke booth in the background. It wasn't Tyler. Just a pair of devastatingly gorgeous legs and a silver ankle chain. I stared at that photograph, my mind blanking for millennia. Seconds. Hold on. This was wrong. Lily was sending me pictures of her legs and asking if they were pretty. Before I could process this information, more floating comments drifted by. It's happening. Underclassman strikes. Female lead is dumbfounded. Underclassman is totally flirting with her, sending leg pics, asking if they're pretty. That's blatant seduction. Little underclassman appears aloof on the surface, but plays so boldly in private. Big sister's legs aren't legs. They're spring water by the riverside. But female lead hasn't caught on yet. She's still thinking underclassman sent it to the wrong person. Huh. Wait till underclassman says wrong number. Classic routine arrives fashionably late. Underclassman is so skilled. I'm obsessed. Before the comments finish floating, Lily's message came. Wrong number, 3 words. Freezing cold. Creating a ridiculous contrast with that seductive photograph. Immediately followed by, sorry, Miss Johnson. That was for someone else. She called me Miss Johnson. That's how she addressed me at work. Professional tone, courteous distance. But seeing those words beneath that thigh photo made it seem like a transparent excuse. I stared at the screen, heartbeat racing like thunder. Wrong number for someone else. Who needs leg photos with? Are they pretty attached? More floating comments appeared. Female lead, do you buy it? Do you buy it? Underclassman. Wrong number. Intentional. Sorry, Ms. Johnson. Never this formal. Usually for someone else. Which someone? Exactly. I'm too familiar with this strategy. Manipulative girl basics. Lesson 1. Fake wrong message to tease your target. But underclassman isn't manipulative with others. He's only manipulative with female lead. This is precision targeting. Female lead, go for it. Forget that sweet boy. I inhaled deeply, locked my phone, unlocked it and reopened that picture for another look. The legs truly were stunning. Perfectly straight and pale. Graceful kneecaps, thighs with smooth curves like artwork. That silver ankle chain was delicate, with a tiny star pendant positioned exactly at the ankle bone. Possibly enticing. I discovered I was actually magnifying to examine details. Rebecca Johnson, get a grip. This is your company's intern. 7 years your junior. Plus, you have a boyfriend, right? Boyfriend Tyler. I closed Lily's chat and opened Tyler's conversation. His earlier dance video remained there. Final frame showing him winking at the camera with a triumphant grin. I found that smile charming before. Now somehow it suddenly seems sickeningly sweet. My phone buzzed again. Lily. Ms. Johnson, I didn't mean anything inappropriate. Please don't get the wrong idea. Lily, really? Wrong number. Tonight's department team event. Everyone's at karaoke. Staring at these messages, a thought suddenly emerged. She genuinely just sent it. Wrong. Why? Specifically. Emphasize don't get the wrong idea. Isn't that basically admitting guilt? Wait, what was I contemplating? She's my intern, 7 years younger. A young woman. What exactly was I anticipating? The floating comments seemed to penetrate my thoughts. Female lead is already dissecting underclassman's mental state. If this isn't romantic interest, what is? Denying it verbally. Already considering it mentally. Hurry there. Karaoke has drama waiting. Female lead, aren't you wondering what sweet boy is up to? Underclassman mentioned everyone's present. I wavered for 3 seconds, then wrote, which karaoke venue are you at? After sending, I examined the message for 2 seconds. Excited it seemed inadequate and supplemented. I'm collecting Tyler. He mentioned visiting me tonight. Flawless. Completely logical. I was collecting my boyfriend, not investigating underclassman's legs. Lily responded immediately. Moonlight private room 302. Then another big sister, will you come? I'll wait for you. Big sister again just addressed me as Ms. Johnson. Now it's big sister. This title alternation was expertly executed, seemingly deliberately planned. Ms. Johnson for public consumption. Big sister exclusively mine. My heart treacherously accelerated again. I rose, retrieved my jacket from the hanger and grabbed my car keys. Reaching the entrance, I checked my reflection in the foyer mirror. 30-year-old Rebecca Johnson, technology company founder worth hundreds of millions. Industry recognized as the stone-cold female executive. Currently, this stone-cold executive was mirror-gazing and mysteriously extracting lipstick from her purse for reapplication. I paused momentarily and internally scolded myself. Rebecca Johnson, you're visiting karaoke to collect your boyfriend, not attending a romantic rendezvous. But another internal voice countered. Who decreed collecting your boyfriend prohibits looking attractive? The floating comments materialized again. Female lead applied lipstick. She applied lipstick. Meeting underclassmen and she actually applied lipstick. Previous sweet boy encounters never involved lipstick. But this underclassman meeting requires careful grooming. Claims boyfriend collection knows who she's genuinely considering. Female lead, you've converted. 20 minutes later. My vehicle parked outside a karaoke establishment named Moonlight. I'd visited this location several times. It was the university area's most popular gathering spot. Pricing wasn't student budget friendly, but the atmosphere was excellent. Consistently crowded. Just as I opened my car door, my phone illuminated. Lily sent a location marker followed by, "Have you arrived? I'll come meet you." How did she know I'd gotten there? I glanced toward the karaoke entrance. Beyond the glass door stretched empty space. Lily visible. I didn't respond and walked inside wearing heels. The reception girl knew me and enthusiastically offered a VIP room. I declined and mentioned room 302. The girl's expression shifted subtly. She looked at me as if she wanted to say something but held back. "What's the matter?" I inquired, my voice dropping an octave into my signature boardroom tone. The receptionist, a college-aged girl with glittery eyeshadow, wrung her hands. "It's just room 302. Mr. Tyler booked it. He's a regular. But Ms. Johnson, he usually books it with. Well, it's a very specific crowd. And he specifically requested we not let anyone from the corporate crowd bother them. If they asked for him." She bit her lip. "He said if a stiff older lady came looking to tell her he left." A stiff older lady. A cold, humorless laugh threatened to bubble up in my throat, but I suppressed. "I see. Thank you for your honesty." I slid a crisp $100 bill from my clutch and pushed it across the counter. "You never saw me." "Saw who?" she replied instantly, pocketing the cash. I turned down the neon-lit corridor, the heavy muffled thud of bass vibrating through the soles of my Jimmy Choos. As I walked, the air shivered, and the glowing text materialized right before my eyes once more. Floating comment. Oh, receptionist spilled the tea. Floating comment. Sweet boy is about to become dead boy. Floating comment. Female lead is marching to her villain era and I am here for it. Floating comment. Wait till she sees what Lily has prepared. Underclassman is playing 4D chess. My pulse thrummed, a mix of adrenaline and an unfamiliar, sharp anticipation. What Lily has prepared. I reached the door of room 302. It was heavy, soundproofed with a narrow, rectangular pane of tinted glass at eye level. Before grabbing the handle, I leaned in and peered through the glass. The room was bathed in pulsing magenta and deep blue lights. It was packed, but not with my company's department team. There were no mid-level managers singing off-key 80s ballads. It was a frat party atmosphere. Empty beer bottles and half-drank fluorescent cocktails littered the tables. And right in the center, sprawled on the velvet leather sofa like a cheap king, was Tyler. He didn't have his phone out. He wasn't waiting for me. Instead, he had one arm draped lazily around the waist of a blonde girl in a crop top, while his other hand held a microphone. He wasn't singing, he was holding court. I pushed the door open just a crack, barely half an inch, letting the audio spill into the hallway. "I'm telling you, it's the perfect setup," Tyler's voice boomed over the low background music, laced with a cocky, arrogant drawl I had never heard him use. "She's a total workaholic. 30 years old, constantly stressed. I just send her a couple of cute dance videos, tell her she's beautiful, and she practically hands me her Amex." The room erupted in laughter. The blonde girl giggled, tracing a finger down his chest. "Aren't you worried she'll show up? You said her office is doing a thing tonight." "Rebecca? At a karaoke bar?" Tyler scoffed, taking a swig of his beer. "Please. The woman is terrified of fun. She's probably at home reviewing spreadsheets in a pantsuit. She thinks I'm her sweet little devoted boyfriend. It's honestly too easy. She's so desperate to feel young, she'll buy whatever I sell." A freezing calm washed over me. The kind of calm that precedes a corporate bloodbath. I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt profoundly, utterly stupid, and then instantly furiously awake. I raised my hand to push the door wide open and end his miserable existence. Suddenly, a slender hand shot out from the shadows of the hallway, wrapping firmly around my wrist. I gasped, spinning around. Shoo, a soft velvety voice whispered right by my ear. It was Lily. She stepped into the dim light of the corridor, and my breath hitched. Gone was the conservative button-down and tailored slacks she wore at the office. She was wearing an oversized black blazer that swallowed her shoulders, but beneath it was a silk slip dress that clung to her curves like liquid midnight. The dress was dangerously short, showcasing those exact, devastatingly pale legs from the photo. And there, catching the neon light from a nearby exit sign, was the delicate silver ankle chain with the tiny star pendant. Floating comment, she has arrived. The wife is here. Floating comment, look at that outfit. Female lead is malfunctioning. Floating comment, goodbye sweet boy, hello sweet girl. Lily's dark eyes locked onto mine. The courteous distance of the intern was completely eradicated. She looked at me with a predatory, simmering intensity that made the back of my neck tingle. Don't go in there yet, big sister, Lily murmured, her thumb gently stroking the inside of my wrist, right over my racing pulse. Lily. I breathed, my voice barely steady. You lied. The department isn't here. No, they aren't, she confessed smoothly, not looking the least bit apologetic. I knew he was here. I knew what he was doing. And I knew if I just told you, you'd think I was a jealous intern trying to sabotage your perfect relationship. You needed to hear it yourself. My eyes widened. You set this up? The photo. Lily's lips curved into a faint, wicked smile. The photo was bait. I knew you'd come looking. And I knew you'd catch him. She leaned in slightly closer, the scent of bergamot and expensive vanilla wrapping around me. You deserve better than a parasite who calls you an old woman, behind your back, Rebecca. She used my first name. Before I could process the sheer audacity of it, Lily reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. The screen was illuminated with a live audio recording app. The timer was at 25 minutes. I came early, bribed a waiter to hide my second phone behind the ice bucket on his table. Lily said, her eyes flashing with dangerous brilliance. I have him. On crystal clear audio bragging about using your credit cards, mocking your age, and admitting to cheating on you with at least 3 different women. Ready to make a scene. I stared at the 23-year-old girl in front of me. The intelligence, the ruthlessness, the absolute precision. It was terrifying. It was the hottest thing I had ever seen. I straightened my spine, rolling my shoulders back. The stone-cold executive snapped fully into place, but this time, it was armed. Lily, I said, my voice dropping to a smooth, icy register. Send that file to my phone. Already done, Ms. Johnson, she purred, taking a deliberate step back to let me pass. I kicked the heavy soundproof door open. It slammed against the wall with a thunderous crash that instantly killed the music playing from the room's speakers. The laughter in the room died instantly. 20 pairs of eyes snapped to the doorway. I stood there in the frame, my tailored designer jacket draped over my shoulders, my posture impeccable. Lily stood just behind me, a silent, beautiful shadow. Tyler's face drained of all color. He looked like a deer that had just realized the headlights belonged to a freight train. He shoved the blonde girl off him so fast she spilled her drink. Rebecca. Tyler stammered, his voice cracking. He scrambled to his feet, dropping the microphone. It hit the floor with a painful, loud squeal of feedback. Baby, what are you doing here? I thought you were working. I walked into the room slowly, the click of my heels cutting through the dead silence. I didn't look at his friends. I didn't look at the blonde. I kept my eyes deadlocked on him. I finished my spreadsheets, I said pleasantly. Tyler swallowed hard, sweating visibly. Look, babe, it's not what it looks like. These are just my study group from the university. We were just blowing off steam. Study group, I repeated. I stopped a few feet from him, pulling my phone from my purse. I tapped the screen and held it up. Tyler's own voice, loud and crisp, echoed out of my phone's speaker. She's 30, bro, practically ancient. But her credit card has no limit. I just send her a couple of cute dance videos. She practically hands me her Amex. The silence that followed was suffocating. Tyler's friends started staring at the ceiling, the floor, their shoes, anywhere but at me. The blonde girl quietly grabbed her purse and slinked out of the room. Tyler fell to his knees, literally. Rebecca, please. It was just locker room talk. I was just showing off for the guys. I didn't mean any of it. You know I love you. Locker room talk, I mused, looking down at him. The charm I used to see in his face was completely gone, replaced by the pathetic desperation of a grifter losing his meal ticket. I opened my purse. I pulled out the supplementary platinum Amex card I had given him 2 months ago for emergency tuition expenses. I had already paused the card through my banking app while walking down the hall. I dropped the card onto the sticky floor. I'm keeping the car, I said coldly. The lease is in my name. I've already texted security at the apartment complex. Your thumbprint has been removed from the smart lock, and your belongings are being packed into garbage bags. They will be waiting for you in the alley behind the dumpsters. Tyler stared at me, trembling. You can't do this. It's midnight. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care, I replied. I turned on my heel. Oh, and Tyler? Enjoy the bachelor's package. The bill is under your name. Have fun paying it. I walked out of the room, not looking back. Floating comment, fatality. Floating comment, flawless victory. CO Queen. Reigns supreme. Floating comment. The way she dropped the card. Hang it in the Louvre. Floating comment. Now, onto the main course. Look at Lily's eyes. I stepped back into the hallway, the adrenaline finally cresting and beginning to recede, leaving my hands slightly shaky. Lily was leaning against the wall, watching me with an expression of pure, unadulterated admiration. That, Lily said softly, was incredible. I exhaled a long, shaky breath, leaning against the wall beside her. Suddenly, the reality of the night crashed over me. I was 30, I had just dumped a cheating loser, and I was standing in a neon-lit hallway with an intern who had orchestrated the entire thing with the tactical brilliance of a CIA operative. You are insane, you know that? I looked over at her, trying to maintain my authority. You manipulated me. You sent me a photo of yourself, just to lure me here. Lily didn't flinch. She stepped closer, so close I could feel the heat radiating from her body. She looked down at me. She was a few inches taller in her boots, and her gaze dropped briefly to my lips before rising to meet my eyes. I didn't send you a photo of myself just to lure you here, Rebecca, she said, her voice dropping to a husky whisper. I sent it because I wanted you to see it. The wrong number text was just giving you an out, in case you were too straight to handle it. My breath caught in my throat. The sheer boldness of it was staggering. You're my intern, I managed to say, though it sounded weak even to my own ears. My internship ends on Friday, Lily countered smoothly. After that, I'm just a woman who has been hopelessly in love with you for 3 years. I stared at her, stunned. 3 years? You've only worked at the company for 6 months. Lily smiled, a soft, genuine smile that transformed her completely. You gave a guest lecture at Stanford 3 years ago. The future of tech infrastructure. You wore a white tailored suit. You destroyed a male tech bro in the Q&A section, who tried to mansplain blockchain to you. I was in the 3rd row. I decided 2 things that day. 1, I was going to change my major to software engineering. And 2, I was going to make you mine. The floating comments were going absolutely nuclear in my peripheral vision. Floating comment, 3 years. The dedication. Floating comment, long game. She played the long game. Floating comment, sweet boy was just a speed bump. Lily is the highway. Floating comment, kiss her right now. My heart was hammering against my ribs, a wild, frantic rhythm that had nothing to do with anger and everything to do with the intoxicating woman standing in front of me. You are incredibly dangerous, I whispered. Only to the men who don't appreciate you, Lily murmured. She reached up, gently tucking a stray lock of hair behind my ear. Her fingertips lingered on my cheek, her touch sending a shockwave of electricity straight down my spine. Take me home, big sister. Let me show you what it feels like to actually be worshipped. My mind completely short-circuited. The logic, the rules, the corporate boundaries, they all burned away under the heat of her gaze. I grabbed her hand, intertwining my fingers with hers. My car is out front. The drive to my penthouse was a blur of thick, palpable tension. We didn't speak. The silence in the sleek cabin of my Porsche was heavy, charged with an electricity that made my skin prickle. Every time we passed under a streetlight, the amber glow would illuminate Lily's profile. She was looking out the window, but her hand rested on the center console, her pinky finger lightly brushing against mine. Floating comment. The tension in this car could power a small city. Floating comment. Female lead is gripping that steering wheel for dear life. Floating comment. Speed limit? Never heard of her. I pulled into the underground parking garage of my building, the tires squealing slightly against the polished concrete. I killed the engine. The sudden silence was deafening. Before I could even unbuckle my seatbelt, Lily was moving. She leaned across the center console, her hands cupping my face, and kissed me. It wasn't a hesitant, testing kiss. It was an explosion. It was years of waiting, of plotting, of watching from the sidelines, poured into a single, desperate collision. Her lips were soft but incredibly demanding, parting mine with an urgency that stole the breath right out of my lungs. I let out a soft, surprised gasp, and that was all the invitation she needed. Her tongue swept into my mouth, tasting of cherry chapstick and dark, thrilling intent. My hands moved on their own, letting go of the steering wheel and burying into her dark hair, pulling her closer. She let out a low groan, shifting her weight until she was practically in my lap, her blazer falling off her shoulders to reveal the smooth, warm skin of her back. Lily, I breathed against her lips, my mind spinning. Tell me to stop, she whispered fiercely, kissing my jaw, trailing fire down my neck. Order me to stop, Ms. Johnson, and I will. Tell me I'm just an intern. Shut up, I commanded, my voice hoarse, pulling her back up to kiss her again. Harder this time. We barely made it out of the car. The elevator ride to the penthouse was a chaotic blur of tangled limbs, breathless kisses, and shedding layers. By the time the elevator doors dinged open, her blazer was abandoned on the floor of the carriage and my designer jacket was somewhere in the lobby. I backed her against the heavy mahogany door of my apartment as I fumbled with the smart lock. It beeped green, and we stumbled inside. The moonlight spilled through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the sprawling minimalist living room. But I wasn't looking at the view. I was looking at Lily. She stood there in the center of my living room in that slip dress, the silver ankle chain glinting in the pale light. She looked like a masterpiece. You're staring, she teased, her chest heaving as she caught her breath, a triumphant smirk playing on her lips. I'm admiring, I corrected, stepping out of my heels. I walked slowly toward her, feeling the cool hardwood under my bare feet. You orchestrated a coup. Tonight, Miss Lily. You dismantled my relationship, hacked my private life, and invaded my home. Lily didn't back down. She stood her ground, her eyes dark and challenging. Are you going to write me up, boss? I think disciplinary action is required, I murmured, closing the distance between us. I wrapped my arms around her waist, pulling her flush against me. The contrast of her soft warmth against my silk blouse was maddening. I picked her up. She let out a startled, delighted laugh, wrapping her long, pale legs around my waist instinctively. The ankle chain brushed against my thigh, a cool, metallic reminder of the photo that had started this entire night. I carried her to the bedroom, throwing her down onto the massive king-sized mattress. She bounced once, her hair fanning out over the dark pillows, looking up at me with an expression of pure, unfiltered desire. I stood at the edge of the bed, slowly unbuttoning my blouse. Floating comment. Error 404. Censorship not found. Floating comment. We are entering the premium content zone. Floating comment. Good Lord, boss lady is taking charge. Floating comment. R.I.P. Tyler, you died so they could live. You know, I said, my voice dropping to a low, commanding murmur as I slipped my blouse off my shoulders. You thought you were the predator tonight, Lily. You thought you laid the perfect trap. Lily propped herself up on her elbows, watching me with wide, darkened eyes. Didn't I? I climbed onto the bed, crawling over her like a panther, pinning her wrists to the mattress above her head. She gasped a beautiful, helpless sound that sent a rush of pure power straight to my head. You did, I whispered, leaning down until my lips brushed her ear. But you forgot one thing. I'm a CEO, Lily. I don't get trapped. I acquire. The rest of the night blurred into a symphony of tangled sheets, hushed confessions, and skin against skin. For years, I had built walls of ice around myself, focusing solely on the company, settling for a shallow, safe relationship with a boy who only wanted my money. I thought I was protecting myself. But Lily didn't break the ice. She melted it. She worshipped every inch of me, her touches reverent and fiercely possessive, proving with every breath that she didn't want my status or my wealth. She just wanted me. 6 months later, I sat in my corner office, the morning sun streaming through the panoramic windows, illuminating the sleek glass desk. I was reading over the quarterly reports, sipping a perfectly brewed macchiato. The door to my office opened without a knock. Only one person in the building had that privilege. Lily walked in. She was wearing a sharp, tailored white suit that hugged her figure perfectly, a tribute, she claimed, to the day she first saw me. She looked professional, lethal, and devastatingly gorgeous. She wasn't an intern anymore. She was now the head of product development, a role she had earned entirely through her own terrifyingly brilliant work ethic. Morning, Ms. Johnson, Lily said smoothly, locking the office door behind her with a definitive click. Morning, Lily, I replied, not looking up from my tablet. The updated UI specs you sent over last night are excellent. The board will approve them. I don't care about the board, Lily said, walking around my desk. She pushed the tablet out of my hands, spun my leather executive chair around, and straddled my lap right there in the middle of the office. Lily, I warned, though I was already wrapping my arms around her waist, pulling her close. We are at work. It's my lunch break, she whispered, leaning down to press a soft, lingering kiss to my neck. And I missed my wife. We aren't married, I pointed out, leaning my head back to give her better access. Yet, Lily corrected smugly. She pulled back, her eyes glittering with mischief. By the way, guess who applied for a junior data entry position in my department this morning? I raised an eyebrow. Surprise me. Tyler, she said, a wicked grin spreading across her face. I paused, a laugh catching in my throat. You're joking. I am not. Apparently, his study group didn't pay the bills and he got kicked out of his frat house. He submitted a resume. It had 3 typos. And what did you do? I asked, highly amused. I flagged his application, Lily said, tracing my jawline. I sent him a personalized rejection email. It just said, sorry, wrong number. I threw my head back and laughed, a loud, genuine sound that I still wasn't completely used to making. I pulled Lily down by her lapels, kissing her deeply, pouring all the love and gratitude I felt for this chaotic, brilliant woman into it. As we pulled apart, smiling against each other's lips, the air shimmered one last time. Floating comment. The perfect ending. Floating comment. Gigi. She got the girl, the company, and the revenge. Floating comment. Underclassman wins. Flawlessly. Floating comment. Signing off. Be happy, you two. I smiled, looking past the floating text, straight into Lily's dark, adoring eyes. I am, I whispered. What was that? Lily asked, tilting her head. Nothing, I smiled, pulling her back down. Just talking to myself.